You are currently 38,000 feet above the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It is hour 11 of a 14-hour flight. The cabin lights have been dimmed to a deep, artificial twilight. Around you, 300 people are suspended in that strange, restless half-sleep that only exists in economy class. You're staring at the back of the headrest in front of you, feeling every bit of the cramped, pressurized reality of modern air travel. But take a look up. Not just at the reading light or the air vent, but at the plastic panels themselves. What if I told you that just 24 inches above your head, there is a secret world that most passengers never even realize exists? While you're struggling to find a comfortable position in seat 24B, there might be someone sleeping soundly in a full-sized bed directly above you. There are miles of glowing fiber optic nerves, a complex system of lungs that keeps you breathing, and even a strange phenomenon known as fuselage rain that's being fought back by high-tech blankets. Most people think of an airplane as a hollow tube with seats, but the truth is far more fascinating. Above the ceiling is the crown of the aircraft, a hidden attic packed with the engineering marvels that make a 14-hour journey possible. By the end of this, you'll never look at a cabin ceiling the same way again. Let's start with the part that sounds like a conspiracy theory, the secret apartments. On long-haul jets like the Boeing 777 or the Airbus A350, the crew can't work 14 hours straight. It's not just a matter of being tired, it's a matter of international law. To keep everyone safe, pilots and flight attendants need real restorative sleep. But where do they go? They don't just sit in the back of the plane with a neck pillow. They climb into the crew rest compartments. If you've ever noticed a small, nondescript door near the cockpit, or a panel that looks like a regular overhead bin but has a keypad on it, you've found the entrance to the attic. Inside the pilot's rest, usually located right above the first-class cabin, there are 2 comfortable bunks. It's not a 5-star hotel. The ceiling is so low you have to crawl into bed, but it's quiet, dark, and completely isolated from the noise of the passengers. They have thick curtains, reading lights, and even their own emergency oxygen and fire suppression systems. While the relief crew takes the controls downstairs, the primary pilots are literally dreaming just a few feet above the people in row 1. Further back, usually above the economy section, is a much larger secret bedroom for the cabin crew. Depending on the size of the plane, this loft can hold up to 10 bunks. Imagine a high-tech version of a Japanese capsule hotel. Each flight attendant has their own little pod. It's a strange, surreal space where the walls are curved because of the shape of the plane's hull. When you see a flight attendant disappear for 3 hours during a flight to Sydney, they aren't hiding in the galley, they're resting in the crown. But it's not all beds and pillows up there. If you were to peel back those plastic ceiling panels, you'd reveal the aircraft's nervous system. I'm talking about an incredible density of wiring and fiber optics. In a modern jet, there are over 60 miles of electrical cables snaking through the fuselage, and a huge portion of them run through the space above your head. These aren't just for the in-flight entertainment system. These are the fly-by-wire controls. In older planes, physical cables and pulleys connected the cockpit to the wings. Today, when a pilot moves the side stick, it's a digital signal traveling at the speed of light through those wires above you. Because safety is the absolute priority, these systems are triply redundant. There are usually 3 separate buses or pathways for these wires. If one part of the plane is damaged, the other 2 pathways, often spaced apart in different sections of the ceiling, ensure the pilot never loses control. It's a silent, digital conversation happening right over your hair, thousands of times per second. Now, here's something a bit more visceral. Let's talk about the rain. Every single person on a plane is a radiator of heat and a source of moisture. Over 14 hours, 300 people breathe out a massive amount of water vapor. When that warm, humid air rises and hits the outer skin of the airplane, it encounters a problem. Outside, the temperature is minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit. When warm air meets a freezing surface, you get condensation. In the early days of aviation, this water would pool on top of the ceiling panels and eventually start dripping on passengers. To prevent this fuselage rain, the space above you is lined with specialized insulation blankets. They look like giant silver-wrapped pillows. They serve 2 purposes. They keep the heat in so you don't freeze, and they absorb and manage that moisture. Modern planes even have crown fans that constantly circulate air through the attic space to dry out these blankets. If those systems weren't there, you'd be reaching for an umbrella by the time you cross the Atlantic. But the crown is also the lungs of the aircraft. Have you ever wondered why the air on a plane feels so dry? It's because it's being cycled through a massive environmental control system. High-pressure air is bled off the engines, cooled down through heat exchangers, and then pumped into the cabin. The distribution manifolds, the giant pipes that move this air, run right through the ceiling. This air is then pushed down through the vents above your head in a very specific pattern. It's designed to create a curtain of air that moves from top to bottom, not front to back. This is why if someone 5 rows behind you sneezes, you aren't necessarily breathing in their germs. The air is being pushed down into floor vents, filtered through HEPA filters that catch 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, and then mixed with fresh air before coming back through the ceiling. The space above you is a constant whirlwind of purification. Then there's the oxygen. We've all seen the safety demo. In the event of a decompression, masks will drop from the panel above you. But where does that oxygen come from? Most people assume there's a giant tank of O2 sitting in the back of the plane. That's actually not true for most passenger rows because tanks are heavy and can leak. Instead, directly above your head, inside that little plastic door, is a chemical oxygen generator. It's a small canister filled with a mixture of sodium chlorate and iron powder. When you pull the mask toward you, it triggers a literal oxygen candle. A small percussion cap ignites the mixture, and as it burns, it releases pure oxygen as a byproduct. It's a foolproof system because it doesn't require electricity to work. The only downside, that chemical reaction gets incredibly hot. If those masks ever drop, the space above the ceiling is actually filled with hundreds of tiny controlled chemical fires, all burning at once to keep you alive. It's a sobering thought, but also a testament to the incredible ingenuity of aviation safety. If we look even higher, above the wires and the air ducts in the crew bunks, we find the hump you see on the outside of many planes. That's the satellite antenna. In the 21st century, passengers expect high-speed Wi-Fi even at 40,000 feet. To make that happen, there's a motorized antenna sitting on top of the fuselage, protected by a fiberglass dome. As the plane turns and moves, that antenna is constantly swiveling to stay locked onto a satellite thousands of miles away in orbit. The hardware that manages that connection is tucked away in the crown, right above the ceiling of the midsection. You're essentially sitting under a mobile satellite dish that's communicating with space while you watch a rom-com. Beyond the tech, there's the sheer structural skeleton of the plane. The crown is where the stringers and frames meet. These are the ribs of the aircraft. When you experience turbulence and the plane feels like it's flexing, it's because it is. The engineering above your head is designed to be both incredibly rigid and slightly flexible. In a carbon fiber plane like the Boeing 777, the crown is a single seamless piece of composite material. It's one of the strongest structures ever built by humans, capable of withstanding the massive pressure differential between the pressurized cabin and the near vacuum of the outside world. If the ceiling didn't hold, the plane would literally unzip, but it does hold, hour after hour, year after year, through thousands of cycles of expansion and contraction. It's easy to get bored on a long flight. It's easy to feel like you're just sitting in a plastic box in the sky. But the next time you look up at that ceiling, remember that you're looking at the most sophisticated attic in the world. You're looking at a place where pilots go to dream, where oxygen is created by fire, where satellite signals from space are being translated into your emails, and where miles of digital nerves are keeping you on course. It's a hidden masterpiece of human achievement, hidden just a few inches above your head. Every part of that space is there for a reason, from the insulation blankets that stop the rain to the carbon fiber ribs that keep the vacuum of space at bay. Flying is a miracle, not just because of the engines under the wings, but because of the secret world above the ceiling. If you found this look into the hidden side of aviation fascinating, you're going to love our next deep dive into the electronics bay, the literal brain of the aircraft located beneath your feet. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And the next time you're on a long-haul flight, take a second to look up and appreciate the incredible machine you're traveling in. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.